But all right, cool. So now we're gonna go over to Netflix and Friends, and we're gonna go to the Cook of Castamar, which Sharon you saw. So tell us about the Cook of Castamar.
Yes,
Kind of.
it's a Spanish production based on
Ooh.
a apparently a best-selling Spanish novel that I know nothing about.
Okay.
But it is, yeah, I think 10 parts, I believe it is. It's
Okay,
set
so
in,
okay, so Sharon, you're doing your usual thing of like reviewing something in another language, but we're probably going to be one of the few English language things. So I expect all the views to come rolling in on YouTube because apparently that's a niche that Sharon has cornered when she does something that it's another language, but we're about the only people who reviewed it in English. So ta-da! So
yeah,
cool.
who knows? Yeah, so it's set in 1711, 1712. So picture Dangerous Liaisons, those sort of clothes, and it's
Gotcha.
almost like an upstairs downstairs type drama where you have at the beginning. It starts off with the Duke of Castamar, Don Diego del Castamar, is he's widowed. He's got this seemingly happy marriage with his wife. She's just found out she's expecting the potential heir to this vast estates and this dukedom, and there's a tragic accident and she is killed and he is left bereft. And at the beginning, then a year passes and they're trying to encourage him to take back up his position in society again. And then at this sort of time when he's beginning to emerge from his state of mourning, this young woman, we don't know much about her at the beginning. She's basically found a position in his kitchens as just one of the member of staff in the kitchens. And it one day the actual cook has an accident and can no longer work, so she steps in as she's got a gift for cooking, and then she becomes the cook of Castamar. So it's based on this one woman, and the story unfolds whereas you find out that there's a young woman has been invited to stay with the Duke and his family, and there's sort of like plotting going on. There's this sort of sinister character called the Marquis de Soto who invites this young woman, and then he seduces her. And you think, what's going on here? Why would he introduce this sort of young woman and then seduce her and to get the Duke to marry her? And there's all sorts of plotting going on. So there's very much shades of Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah, sounds
And
yeah, yeah.
and and this sort of story as the story unfolds, you understand what this Marquez has got, what his problem is and why he's plotting all this downfall. And each episode goes on, it is novelly in the way it's structured, in that each episode almost has like a mini episode on its own. So there's a point of drama, there's a bit of tension, then it moves on. But there's this sort of running through it is this thread of why is he sort of plotting against the Duke, but seemingly acting as his friend. And there's a sort of whole cast of characters upstairs and downstairs. There's all this group of aristocrats basically who are in the upper house, and then the lower house you've got these people who are the servants, but who interact with some of the local smugglers and who interact with some of the local underworld. And you see how the layers of society. And one of the children of the Duke's brother is an adopted brother who once was a slave, but he has been adopted into the family, and he is the mother calls him her son, he calls him his brother. He's fully accepted as part of the family, and you find out a little bit about his backstory and how he becomes involved in this plotting to bring about the downfall of the House of Castamar. So it is quite a real sort of soap opera of a drama. So you've got tensions. There's sort of hint of romance there, but because of the classes, there's only one sort of relationship that a Duke can have with his servants. It's either as an employer or as like an illicit relationship. There is no sort of honourable outcome to a Duke and a cook having a relationship. And so it sort of delves into that, how can they both maintain their own personal integrity, even if they may have feelings with each other. Where can that possibly go if you're a Duke? You cannot elevate a cook into the aristocracy, and a Duke, what does he do? And he has feelings for someone other than someone who's suitable as the future Duchess. So you see this sort of social angling, and there's there's a side plot with the king who's a bit mad, as most of the Spanish kings were, and how the throne potentially is threatened because there's like this sort of vein of madness running through the royal house,
Oh,
and the Duke is sort of drawn into the sort of royal circle. So it's interesting. It's sort of, you see about society, you see about the local, with all these dramas running through it as well. So
okay,
I
cool.
actually really liked it.
All right, yeah, I was gonna ask you that because no, bearing in mind you broke out you like in a courtroom drama. You mentioned Dangerous Liaisons, and therefore it's fair play. So I'm gonna mention Dangerous Liaisons because I know
Yeah.
that there's a new version of Dangerous Liaisons that both you and Holly have recently started watching, and I
Holly's seen it.
think
I haven't seen it yet myself. I haven't seen it yet.
okay, cool. I thought you both started watching and you both kind of went, oh, can't be bothered. So
Yeah.
I was wondering like, had this held your attention better? So you quite liked it. How many stars did you give it?
I really rated the Cooker Customer. I would give it a 4. I
Ooh.
liked the fact that it was structured in a way like a book, that you have these chapters, you have each chapter reveals a little bit more information, so you understand the picture that is built. It builds up a picture.
Yep.
You get these sort of rise and fall,
Mm-hmm.
and then it sort of builds to a conclusion. So I like the way it's structured, because so many modern adaptations of novels, they like to chop about with structure. You end up getting it. You start at the middle, then you get flashbacks to the beginning, and then you get a bit more information. Then you get jumps ahead and jumps back. I think sometimes a well constructed novel is like a well constructed drama. Is that
Yeah.
you don't have to use tricks. Because if you've written a good story, the story will flow and rise and fall. And I felt that this was just really well constructed. I didn't know any of the actors, of course, because I'm not that familiar with the,
Spanish.
the the Spanish,
Yeah. Spanish actors and stuff.
glitterati. So I didn't, but I thought it was really well done. There were sympathetic characters. You want to boo and hiss at the bad guys, and there's like a nice sort of, there's a bad guy and there's a bad woman, a wicked lady. So yeah, there's some. I thought there's some interesting. For me, I enjoyed it. I just thought it was to me, it felt like a real, almost like old fashioned in places, but as for all that, you could really get your teeth into it, and I really enjoyed it.
Good. So 4 stars for the Cook of Castamar. And